YouTubers, and back for another What Would Have Happened If This Were in Real Life RhinoTMRT Gameplay Series YouTube video, and this is the second try. Now, I've been trying over and over again, well, yeah, I mean, I've also tried this once before, but now I finally have a topic for this week's What Would Have Happened If This Were in Real Life RhinoTMRT Gameplay Series YouTube video. Yeah, and honestly, I'm quite very surprised, because, I figured that I would do this one. And it kind of felt very great because, it makes good sense, and, yeah, so I figured that I would do this one. It's also, so now this one is actually sort of like a How to Train Your Dragon prequel movie idea. This is kind of the one that I wanted to do because, I haven't done this one yet, but I figured why not do a How to Train Your Dragon prequel movie idea? There's literally no way that I could ever come up with a How to Train Your Dragon 4 movie. I don't think that I can come up. I don't think that I can come up with a How to Train Your Dragon 4 movie with the Dragons, the Nine Realms TV show are out now that takes place 100 years after the How to Train Your Dragon 3 movie. So, yeah, I figured How to Train Your Dragon prequel movie idea actually felt like a kind of very great idea. And it would basically focus on like a young Stoic the Vast, and how he met how young Stoic the Vast met his friend, his friend, the sidekick of his. I forgot his name, but I don't know. So yeah, this would be sort of like, this would technically be sort of like a Stoic the Vast, How to Train Your Dragon prequel movie. So yeah, so this is what would have happened if this is what would have happened if the young if the so this is what would have happened if the Adventures of Young Stoic, How to Train Your Dragon prequel movie were in real life. Now we cut open to the beginning where we see a young Stoic who is basically different than his father, which of course kind of paving the way for like the main characters. So yeah, now it's been a long time since I've ever seen How to Train Your Dragon 1 movie, so but I think I know exactly how this prequel movie idea should come upon. I already know how this prequel movie idea should go for. And I already know what it is, so yeah, I guess that kind of does make sense. So young Stoic, who of course actually doesn't have any friends. Well, for the record, he only has like one friend, so yeah, that kind of does make sense. And of course, with Stoic's father actually being, yeah, I'm just gonna call him Stoic's father. There's literally no point. And yes, this also, and I think I don't know if this would be related to like the book series, which of course I found out. However, it's sort of like, The Adventures of Young Stoic is actually the How to Train Your Dragon prequel movie. Sort of like takes place a lot of years, takes place like so many years, like after like a couple of years before Hiccup was born. Which is kind of the idea about all that. And yeah, so I guess I kind of would enjoy this because, I do enjoy doing this RhinoTMRT gameplay series, and, it's quite very obvious. So, yeah, so young Stoic, who now doesn't have any friends, and of course his father, is a little bit more different. Stoic himself. Stoic's father actually, destroys it. Actually, fights dragons. Kind of like how they did in the first How to Train Your Dragon movie. This is just how I wanted to play him out. So young Stoic is all like, well, I want to become a Viking, and then Stoic's father says that he isn't worthy of becoming one yet. So young Stoic is supposed to young Stoic is basically is basically training to become a Viking, which this is sort of how the idea is. And yeah, now in order to keep this the straight, in order to keep the prequel movie from all making sense towards the How to Train Your Dragon 1 movie, the same thing that Hiccups, the same thing that Stoic's father did to Stoic. You know how like Stoic's father actually teach Stoic to train a bit more, like kind of like how they did in the first movie. Well, yeah, so this is kind of how it's like. So yeah, and then of course young Stoic is all like, well, yeah, well, yes, father, I do want to become a knight. So yes, so they both agree that they both agree that Stoic wants to become a knight, and then of course he meets a few couple of other friends in the he meets a few couple of other friends, including Stoic's lover from the How to Train Your Dragon 2 film, which this is kind of how I wanted it to be like. So yeah, I guess it kind of does make sense now that I think about it. And yeah, so this will also explain how Stoic got to marry his wife, and then therefore Hiccup would, and then therefore all leading up to the events of the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, which this is sort of how I wanted it to go upon. You see, because it'll be very different now the adventures of young Stoic actually does have its like funny comedic moments even during like all the medieval dragon fight battle scenes. They actually have some comedy, which is little bits of comedy, which is something that the How to Train Your Dragon 1, 2, and 3 movies didn't have. Well, unless they did have some, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've ever seen those, so it's been a long time since I've ever seen those three movies, and yeah, so, well, I mean, I've seen the first two and then the third one, so yeah, it kind of does make sense. However, it's been a long time, so yeah, I guess it kind of does make sense. And the idea of me doing all this, it makes it perfectly good sense. So young Stoic is actually training with other young Viking warriors about his age, including Stoic's girlfriend, that would later become Stoic's wife, Stoic's wife to Hiccup, which that would later give birth to Hiccup, which I guess kind of does make a lot of sense. So yeah, that kind of does make sense. And then Stoic actually hears word that one of the Night Furies is actually coming to their village. So young Stoic actually goes into his house to be safe, while Stoic's father actually fights to destroy the Night Fury the uh, to destroy the Night Fury alongside all the other dragons. So yeah, this is just how the prequel movie idea is like. I mean, it's not much, but it's not a lot of much of it. So young Stoic, so young Stoic actually tells all the young Viking warriors that they need to go out there and help Stoic's father, but they don't agree. But Stoic's friends actually don't agree with but Stoic's Viking warrior companions actually don't agree because they don't want to get in trouble. However, Stoic's girlfriend, who would later become Stoic's wife and would later give birth to Hiccup, actually says, "I will join you. I will join you in putting an end to this Night Fury." So then I will join you in putting an end to this random Night Fury. For the record, this isn't. For the record, this isn't the night. For the record, this is also the Night Fury that gave birth to Toothless. So yeah, I guess it kind of does make a lot of sense now that I think about it. So Stoic's girlfriend, and of course Stoic's new friends, and Stoic's new Viking warrior friends, all of them eventually go into battle against all the other dragons and one of the Night Furies. And then of course we cut to an emotional scene where Stoic's father actually dies. So much like in How to Train Your Dragon 2 where Stoic dies, however in this prequel movie idea, Stoic's father dies, and then Stoic is all like, no, and then the Night Fury feels a lot more powerful. However, Stoic eventually uses his strength, and he and his girlfriend and all of his new Viking warrior friends, they all go and go against the Night Fury and go against like all the other dragons, which is just kind of the idea. However, instead of them actually burning the place down, instead of the Night Fury and the dragons actually burning the place down, burning all of Berk down, what they actually do is that they actually conquer it, therefore forcing Stoic and his girlfriend and his friends to like go outside into like the forest of Berk. So they of course retreat alongside all the other people, and Stoic's mother, and then of course Stoic is all like, "We've lost. The dragons, including the Night Fury, have taken over all Berk." But then Stoic's mother actually gives an important speech that says that they will not fail and that they can still use that if they use all their strength together, then they'll be able to destroy all the Night Fury. Then they'll be able that if they use all their strength together, by basically using sheep as bait to take the dragons out, then all of Berk will be saved, and then everything will go back the way it was. So yeah, so Stoic actually agrees to this, and then Stoic's girlfriend, Stoic's friends, and Viking warrior friends, including that other friend that Stoic had, the one with the sidekick person from the first 3 films. I don't know his name, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. So they all go have an epic fighting battle scene against the Night Fury and the dragons. Well, the Night Fury is technically Toothless's father. So yeah, so that's kind of the plot twist. The plot twist about the Night Fury in this movie is that the Night Fury in this movie is actually Toothless's father. And then of course, so Stoic and his girlfriend and all Stoic and Stoic's girlfriend and all of his friends, including that one friend of his in the How to Train Your Dragon 1, 2, and 3 films. They all succeed in getting the dragon and destroying all the dragons and the Night Fury itself. They get rid of the Night Fury, and then everything has a happy ending. Stoic and his girlfriend eventually get married, and they both become both become husband and wife, reassuring that they would have a son named Hiccup. And then of course everything goes perfectly well into a perfectly good ending. The end. And then the end. And then, well, before the end, well, technically the ending was when Stoic and his girlfriend eventually got married. They both become husband and wife, and then they all celebrate. They all party right after destroying the dragon, and then everything goes, and then they all live happily ever after. The end. And then we got a post-credit scene where Toothless hasn't heard from his father, and where Toothless's mother actually tells him that his father died at the hands of Stoic. And then of course this would making Toothless the new Night Fury that will destroy all Berk, or potentially take it over. And with him knowing that one day with Toothless knowing that dragons and humans would eventually go work together someday later in the future. And then cut to black, we hear a very great, like dragon roar and all that. So yeah, and that was my take on what would have happened if the adventures of young Stoic, How to Train Your Dragon prequel movie were in real life. Now, I actually kind of enjoyed doing this one because, it felt very great and all. And yeah, I guess it kind of felt very great. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for today. Peace out. Bye bye.